All right, let's start with the photo. This appears in the New York Times. It looks like it might be from a freight elevator, maybe from the sort of atmospherics here, but you can see the caption there. Workers from the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, preparing to enter the offices of the U.S. African Development Foundation after U.S. Marshals opened the doors on Thursday afternoon. The New York Times and other places reporting on the kids from Doge being let into this tiny federal agency that they had previously tried unsuccessfully to get into. They tried on Wednesday to get in and the agency wouldn't let them in. They came back Thursday and they were let into the agency by U.S. Marshals who opened the doors for them. Once inside, they reportedly changed the locks. So presumably behind those locked doors, they could go about the business of trying to dismantle that agency and fire everyone in it. Same basic story from the Washington Post, reporting that the Doge kids showed up, quote, with 5 U.S. Marshals. The Post reporting that the people who work at that agency, they were warned by colleagues who were having lunch nearby who saw the Doge kids coming, warned that the Doge guys were on the way with U.S. Marshals. The staffers then used the stairs, not the elevator, to get out of the building. They slipped out that way. They left their belongings behind, quote, to avoid a confrontation with Doge and the U.S. Marshals. So this is a very dramatic story, right? About a tiny agency created by Congress. Legally, only Congress has the authority to shut them down. Trump is trying to shut them down anyway, trying to use this Doge entity that is under the control of his top campaign donor to do it. Maybe. They don't explain themselves much, but it seems like that's what they're doing. At this tiny agency, the staffers there tried to hold the line and keep operating as an agency by essentially keeping the doors closed while the Doge guys tried to muscle their way in, pounded on the door and said, let us in. Here's what I want to know, though. When those Doge kids came back the second day, they came back on Thursday, and according to all the press reports, U.S. Marshals let them in the building. Was it U.S. Marshals? I mean, who is that in the elevator with the Doge kids, really? We have reason to question whether the men reported as U.S. Marshals, now in multiple press accounts, are actually U.S. Marshals in the usual sense. We asked the Department of Justice about it, since the Marshals are part of DOJ. DOJ told us, quote, we are not making a statement at this time. We do request that you please verify with your sources to ensure your reporting would be accurate. We absolutely are trying. It would help a lot if you guys would answer the question. Are those U.S. Marshals?
Axios says Trump's bringing America into its big boss era. Working from home and DEI's out, hard work, long hours, and firing slackers is in. And Doge is leading the charge. Elon's wrecking crew took over the 6th floor of a federal building in downtown D.C. They went to IKEA, bought beds, lamps, dressers, and they're sleeping in the office. They even set up a child's play area. And they're thinking about installing a washer and dryer. And the Doge boys are sleeping in an office to save themselves time and us money. Doge says the VA was paying people $50,000 to water 8 plants. That's $7,000 a plant. They weren't even marijuana plants. They were just decorative. They even put up a sign, please do not water these plants. These plants are serviced by a plant contractor. Doge canceled the contract and says they'll water the plants themselves, free of charge. These are all common sense cuts, but fraud is the establishment's bread and butter.
They're going to push back because you've got congressmen on both sides of the aisle that if they follow that paper trail, it's going to come back to them. You got their wife and or girlfriend that works for some agency, quasi-agency or some business, and I'll probably get primaried for saying that, but that's the truth, and we all know it. And this town's crooked as a dog's leg. Somebody's going to straighten it out. Looks like it's going to be Elon Musk.
Someone's girlfriend was getting paid 50 G's to water that plant. I know it.